Hey guys, have you ever gotten that feeling you're sitting at home and you just all of a sudden wish that you could be closer to work so you didn't have to commute so much? Or maybe you want to be further away from work, who knows? But as soon as that thought crossed into your mind, you were overcome by this feeling of dread and unknown. How am I going to sell my house? How do I make sure I get the most value? Where am I going to find a great real estate agent, right? Well, you are in luck today. Today, I'm going to talk to you about things to consider when selling your house. I'm going to try and answer all of your questions, try and tie up all those loose ends so that you can have confidence as you go forward through this home selling process. Let's get started. All right, guys, here's the table of contents of what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about why you should sell this spring. We're going to look at some expert insights from today's sellers, talk about why sellers are winning big today. We're going to also look at what's going to happen with home prices this year. We're going to look at how these equity gains can power your next move. You're going to sell a home, but you still need another home, right? Real estate has been voted the best investment by a Gallup poll, so that's a strong indicator. We're going to talk about how you can save time and effort by selling with a good real estate agent. Tell you about how your agent is key when pricing your house. You want to go below market value, not above. Should you update your house before you sell it? Well, I'll try and help you answer that question. You can break that down. A checklist for selling your house, and then reasons to hire a real estate professional. Now, one thing that we're not going to cover in this video is how we, the Amanda Vang Real Estate team, can sell your home for up to 18% above the neighborhood average. If you're interested in learning more about that, please send us a message directly. All right, let's get started with our presentation. Why you should sell your home this spring. First of all, the number of homes on the market is still very low. In most of the South Bay Area markets, we are seeing the lowest inventory for homes that we've seen in the last 3 years. So when you list your house, you're gonna gather a lot of attention. You know, we have some homes that we've heard of that receive more than 40 and 50 offers. Wouldn't that be a great situation to be in? Wow. Okay, another reason is that your equity is growing in record amounts. Thanks to recent home price appreciation, this equity will allow you to make a move. When you sell your house, you'll have a significant amount of money to use for a down payment for the next home. And if you work with the Amanda Vang team, we have a couple of vendors, corporate businesses that will actually buy your home for you, allow you to harness that equity to purchase a new home. And throughout the whole process, you can actually directly move from your old home to the new home. They're actually kind of like a bridge loan. Send us a message if you want to learn more about that. Next reason is mortgage rates are increasing. You probably heard talk about this at the end of last year. Inflation was increasing, and to counteract with that, mortgage rates are increasing. Now, something just happened. There's this war that just started last week. So actually what happened is they kind of put a pause on the increasing rates, but what they said was as soon as things get resolved or before a few months have passed, that they are going to continue to increase rates to try and keep everything under control. The fourth major factor is that home prices are climbing too. We saw record levels of appreciation last year in the 15% range, and we are still projected to see major price increases in 2022. Here are some expert insights for today's sellers. By the chief economist at National Association of Realtors, the inventory of homes on the market remains woefully depleted. I love that vocabulary. Woefully defeated, and in fact is currently at an all-time low. I thought it was just a three-year low, but some of my graphs don't go back that far. I guess we are at an all-time low. That is a strong statement. Next one, Freddie Mac. This is national loans. We do expect rates to continue to increase, but at a more gradual pace. That's good because we've seen of rate increases, some really drastic rate increases just in the first quarter of this year and kind of trailing into the fourth quarter of 2021. Next one, First American Deputy Chief Economist, the current supply-demand imbalance is expected to remain in 2022. Home builders are working very hard to bridge that supply gap by a decade of underbuilding. Of course, the supply chain problems that we're seeing now don't help that. But it's going to take some time to reduce the housing stock debt in the face of growing millennial demand. I was reading an article elsewhere where they said that there's 4 different generations that are vying for the same pool of houses. Think about it, right? We have the millennials, the Gen Z, and then the people that came before them, the baby boomers and the 90s. 90s people, oh my gosh. But no, there are four distinct groups, generations that are vying for homes. There's a lot more home demand. And the fourth factor is as home prices kept rising, so did the equity built up in residential properties. So unlike the crash in 2007 where people had homes and there was no equity in them, they didn't owe anything, they could walk away for the mortgage. Now, at least in the Bay Area, the average homeowner has more than $600,000 of equity in their home. So when you walk away from your mortgage, you're gonna walk away with also at least $600,000. And that's why we've got so much strength in the Bay Area market, and that strength does echo throughout the national market. Here's a key takeaway: homeowners who want to take advantage of today's market shouldn't wait to sell. Let's connect today so you can make a confident and informed decision if you're thinking about moving into your dream home. That's the most important part. A lot of people think, why would I move? I love my home. But the reality is that if you live in a home in a desirable area, maybe you've got a great school district, maybe your kids have moved on, maybe you have things in your home that might be very valuable to other people. In Sunnyvale, proximity to the workplaces, especially with people coming back to work, is very important. However, I bet that there's a lot of people in Sunnyvale that have permanent work from home. So, maybe you can give up that aspect of your house, pick up a home in South San Jose that's 2,500 square feet, and you only have to go to work once a week, and there's less traffic anyways, right? So, next up, why sellers are winning big today. Demand is very strong. 6.18 million homes were sold in 2021. That is the highest home sales that we've ever seen in the last 15 years, since 2006. So the good news is that demand is expected to stay strong throughout this year as buyers are going to rush to get in before mortgage interest rates increase. The same report from the National Association of Realtors also reveals that supply is very limited. When we started this year, for most of our markets, we were at 3-year lows, and also unsold inventory nationally sat at 1.6 months of supply, which is also record lows for the nation. Right now, housing supply isn't just low, it's actually very low, and that won't change overnight. What that means is that as we go throughout this year, we're seeing a lot of new inventory come onto the market, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we hit our peak in May, June, and July, that our peak inventory is going to be lower than what we saw last year, which means, how can it be? But we might actually have more competition. We'll see. High demand and low supply gives you maximum leverage. So obviously, when there's strong demand for an item and there's limited supply available, the seller has maximum advantage and leverage in the negotiation. So what that means for you as a potential seller is that you can leverage that to have a higher purchase price. Maybe you don't need to fully remodel your home. You can just do the highest return on investment items like paint and carpet or paint and flooring. All right, what's going to happen to home prices this year? So you might be thinking about selling because you've heard about how you can benefit from today's rising home prices, but will that trend continue? Well, here's what we saw was that in 2021, on average, home values increased by about 15%. That is crazy. To see double-digit appreciation nationally is unheard of. In the Bay Area, we joked how we had double-digit appreciation for a couple of years and wore that badge around very, very proudly, but sure enough, the entire national market went up by double digits, 15% last year. So not so special anymore. Just kidding. Look at this. A graph below shows 2022 home price forecasts from several key industry experts. The average of these projections indicate a 6.1 home price appreciation. Very strong, very good growth. That's very reasonable national growth, even for anywhere 6% increase on your home. Especially when it's a leveraged investment, like you only have 20% down, you can imagine that 6% times 5, right, on your ROI. It's not bad, 30% on your initial cash-on-cash return. It's pretty good. What does this mean for you? Well, as a seller, you could rest assured that the ongoing imbalance of supply and demand will continue to put upward pressure on home prices this year. So that's good news for you if you're ready to sell your house. But selling sooner rather than later lets you capitalize on today's rising home prices and growing equity to fuel your next move. Record equity gains can power your next move. So what I mean by that is that because we've seen so much price appreciation in just this last year, your home might actually be worth an extra $100,000 or $200,000 from the last time you checked. So if you're curious on that, you can always send me and Amanda a message. We'll give you a free home value consultation. We can even do it over Zoom. It's not as accurate if you do it in person. But, if you're curious, we can at least get started. Don't hesitate to reach out. Looking at this map, what we see here, what I like is if you look at California, we have almost the highest homeowner equity gains year over year, 119,000 average equity gain for the homeowner. So pretty much every homeowner in the Bay Area, your parents, your friends, they made $119,000 last year. Very cool. Okay, for a homeowner, your equity is the current value of your home minus what you owe on the loan. So let's say you put a 20% down payment, $200,000. You've paid off $100,000 in your loan. That gives you $300,000 of equity when you sell your home at that price. If you look at this, this is a projection of potential home price growth over the next 5 years if you purchase a $350,000 home in 2022. The reason I'm showing you this graph, and it's emphasizing the main point, when you sell your home, buy a new home so that you continue to gain equity. Don't sell a home and then live at your parents' place for 6 months, and as you find a new home, who knows where the market's gonna be. If you don't have the funds to buy a new home while you still owe your old home, and no one does, trust me, we have some great vendors that can help you with that process. Okay, how rising equity impacts you. If you're a homeowner, equity not only builds your wealth, but also opens doors for you to achieve your financial goals. So you've probably learned this as a homeowner already. Your home value will go up. When you sell your home, you can harness that, get a little cash in the bank, get a new home, maybe get a new car, whatever you need. All right, look at this. Real estate was voted the best investment. So this is a Gallup poll where they saw that 41% of Americans felt like real estate was the best investment. Very cool. And it's actually been on a winning streak for the past 8 years, and it's consistently gaining traction as the best long-term investment. Very cool, a lot of confidence. Why is real estate a great investment during times of high inflations, especially with inflation reaching its highest level in 40 years? One thing that I've seen is that inflation and home prices are tied together. So when inflation has increased, home prices have increased as well. So with inflation reaching its highest level in 40 years, it's more important than ever to understanding the benefits of leveraging your current investment if you want to move into the home of your dreams. So one way to look at that is that a fixed rate mortgage allows you to maintain the biggest portion of housing expenses at the same payment. So property taxes will rise, and other expenses might creep up too, but your monthly housing payment remains the same, while inflation at 5%, 6% like it's been recently, that's gonna be a big hedge against inflation. Also, history shows that during inflationary periods, that home prices will rise. I have another graph I was looking at earlier today that looked at how even since the 70s, inflation and home prices have been tied together. Big inflation increases have either been tied to or caused big increases in home prices as well. Here's another good quote. Real estate is one of the time-honored inflation hedges. It's a tangible asset, and those tend to hold their value when inflation reigns, unlike paper assets. More specifically, as prices rise, inflation, so do property values. Very interesting. Here's another one from a staff advisor from Forbes. Tangible assets like real estate get more valuable over time, which makes buying a house a good way to spend your money during inflationary times. Very cool. Alrighty, so now we're gonna talk about how you're gonna save time and effort by selling with an agent. So selling a house is no simple task. You might have heard of something called a for sale by owner, but what I wanna tell you is think of this just like a doctor, how they take care of your body. Do you wanna go to the doctor that's giving you a sale and a discount and has the lowest prices? Or you wanna go to the doctor, right, that maybe they charge more than average, but they have 100% 5-star reviews from real clients? I don't know, you tell me. Well, what I can tell you is that when you sell your house, it is very important to make the best first impression. So as your real estate agent will advise you on how to best prepare your house for sale, whether it's to take down all of your personal belongings and bring in some professional staging so that the new homeowner can see what it would be like for them to live in the home, not what it looks like for you to live in the home. It's a very important distinction there. But we'll give you advice, on art, on landscaping, on colors inside and outside of the house. We'll help you through all those decisions. The second thing is to maximize your buyer pool and your sale. Today, the average home is getting 3.9 offers, according to the National Association of Realtors. We generally see a little more than that around here, but it does depend on the house and the pricing. However, as a real estate agent, I have a variety of marketing tools available to my disposal. I have networks of agents, of some of the best performing agents that I can collaborate with to see if they have buyers or sellers for properties that we're looking at. And we have access to marketing tools. I have the email addresses of every single real estate agent in Santa Clara County. I have services that can drop 5,000 flyers in a zip code, so we know we can put your house out there and we can make sure that you get noticed. Understand the documentation, including the fine print. There's a lot of contracts. There's a lot of things that you need to read when you sell your house. You need to understand how you can get into the contract, how you can get out the contract, and how and what deposits bind the buyers to the contract. Oftentimes, we've seen situations with undisclosed things with homes. So it is so important that you tell everything to your real estate agent, that you don't hide anything to the buyers, because if anything, new information comes up after the offer becomes, give or take, null and void, and you get to start negotiating from square one. That is not a pleasant situation. Fourth is we can act as your expert negotiator. Both Amanda and I are certified negotiation experts. We are very experienced, and we will make sure that when you interact with these four people, the buyer, the buyer's agent, the inspection company, and the appraiser, that we have very positive interactions with all four of them, because they will very strongly dictate the strength and the confidence that we have in your sale. One thing to note is that we, in the Amanda Vang team, we have very specific strategies and methods that we've developed over our many years in the industry of how to work with buyers, how to work with agents, how to work with inspectors, and how to work with appraisers to make sure that we don't fall into any pitfalls like appraisal shortcomings or bad inspections. We know how to preempt all of those issues and make sure that we have a hassle-free transaction every time. Fifth, and most important probably, is to price it right. You need a real estate professional to give you the best pricing advice so that you can stay on the market. What we've learned is that you need to price below market value to attract the right amount of people. You don't want to have 100 offers and be $500,000 what you expect, but there is a certain level of calibration. We will do a deep dive and a study on the market and give you the pricing that will attract the most people and attract the most offers. Here's another slide talking about why the agent is key in pricing your house. If your house is underpriced, this is going to decrease your future buying power. You know, I can tell you through experience that having a good agent can get you easily $100,000 on your house. You're leaving money on the table by undervaluing your house, and buyers might actually assume that something is wrong if it's so underpriced. You don't want any of those things to happen, especially when first impressions are so important. When your house is priced at market value or about a little bit below market value is what we recommend, you have a better chance of starting a bidding war. You're more likely to get an offer above list price, and you're likely to sell quickly. The other end of the spectrum is if you're overpriced, what's going to happen is that you're going to have less buyer traffic because people will not, your house won't even show up on their searches. Your house is going to sit on the market for longer, which is also going to raise red flags, as in people are going to think, what is wrong with your house? Why didn't it sell in 7 days like the rest of them? And the high price tag might just deter buyers. So the point is that it takes market experience and expertise to price your house right. Because agents like me and Amanda are actively working with clients buying and selling homes every day, every week, we are in the perfect position to give you the best market advice. Here's another great question. Should I update my house before I sell it? The answer is ask a real estate professional. It's very interesting because on this slide, they talk about, these are national numbers, mind you, garage door replacement, deck addition, roofing replacement. Actually, in the Bay Area, it's a little bit different. I would say our top 3 return on investment items would be staging, home staging, so it looks like a nice place for a new family. Paint, full interior paint job, walls, ceiling, trim, doors, everything. And then new flooring. So new laminate or vinyl plank flooring or engineered hardwood for a higher valued home. Those in the Bay Area are going to be the 3 highest return on investment items, but make sure to consult with us. All right, so nearly 2 in 5 potential home buyers would consider purchasing a home requiring renovations. So what that means is that for you as a home seller, you don't need to worry about fully renovating your house so it's completely modern and everything's been done head to toe. No, you can just set a budget, focus on the highest return on investment items, consult with your real estate agent about how to best address this, how to best spend your time and money, and we'll guide you through the process. Here's a quick checklist for selling your house. First, make it inviting, so open the blinds and curtains. Check the light bulbs, make sure the colors are right, the intensity is right. Take all your personal photos and items, fix anything that's broken, and give every room a clear purpose. You want to show that it's cared for, so you need to make sure everything is clean. Clean the vents, clean the baseboards, We always recommend to bring in a professional cleaning company, but of course you can do a lot of the work yourself as well. Decluttering, organizing, and touching up the scuffs on the walls and on the furniture is very important. Third, you want to boost your curb appeal on the outside of the house, so it's good to power wash, to wash all the windows inside and out, tidy up the landscaping, freshen up the entry front door area, and sweep patios, decks, and walkways. Here we'll talk about reasons to hire a real estate professional. You need a good real estate professional to help you understand the contracts so you can navigate the disclosures and contract in today's heavily regulated environment. You need experience, someone that's well-versed in real estate and knows the ins and outs of the entire sales process so that you can know all of your options available and you can have the most options available. Technology, we know how to use the latest tech to make the process and your life easier and faster. Negotiations, we act as a buffer in negotiations. So between you and the seller and the seller's agent, we'll be the buffer and we'll make sure that your interests are always well represented. Education, we simply explain today's market conditions and decipher what they mean to you. Help you understand if today is the best time to sell your house or maybe if later is. And pricing, this is the most important piece. We'll give you the most accurate and up-to-date pricing advice so that you can make sure that you're priced appropriately for the market and can maximize your home exposure. Chief economist from Realtor.com, homes are selling faster than they did at the fastest time of the year before the pandemic. Things are really picking up momentum. So if you've ever had any thoughts about selling your home, you have any more questions after this presentation, or you're interested in learning about how me and Amanda and the Amanda Vang team can sell your home for up to 18% above the neighborhood average using our proven listing strategy, please reach out to us today. Maybe you have a friend or a family or a coworker that's thinking about making a move in the future. Don't hesitate. Tell them to reach out to us, give them our contact information, and let's get started. All right, thanks for staying tuned until the end. I hope you enjoyed today's episode on things to consider when selling your home. Don't hesitate to reach out to me and Amanda. Our contact information is below. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.